And I believe that you can all see my screen that says 5 tips to survive the fast. We're going to begin now. I'm going to start the clock now because we said about 30 minutes. So we're going to try 33 minutes actually. We're starting right now. It says 5 tips. I promised you 3 and a bonus. We're actually going to get 5 and a bonus. These are things that you need to know every day of your life, but they're especially helpful when you're going to come up to a fast. These are tips that have been used based on the book that you see in front of you, To Your Health, written by Rav Yechezkel. Hard to pronounce his name when you look at it in English. His name is Rav Yechezkel. No pills, no stuff stealing. It's based on a very simple principle, and the principle is that Hashem built our bodies, and Hashem also gave us the halacha. And it makes sense, therefore, that if in that body of halacha, there's described ways for you to eat, that those ways to eat should work in tandem together with the way that Hashem, the same person, created your body. So what we're going to talk now is a blend of halacha and modern medicine, and it's all going to work out very nicely. The Torah gives us rules to live in, so why should eating be any different? If there's halachas about how to eat, it only makes sense that we should be able to use those halachas to eat with. Rav Yechezkel, pictured here several years ago, was the health guardian and the meshamish of Rav Shach Zatzal. He took his job very, very seriously. He wrote a book which has sold, b'li ayin hara, over 200,000 copies. And it's not for naught that the book has sold so many copies. It's not about losing weight, though that is one of the things that will happen when you use the tips in the book. It's about staying healthy. And there's many, many anecdotes here because Rav Ishayek was working with Rav Shach and other Gedolim. There's many, many stories of Gedolim. This book, I can't tell you how many letters I've seen to people. I don't want to go on about the book. It's available in bookstores. It's available in the RBS Geld Center, 40 shekel in English. The first thing we're going to talk about is hydration. That probably looks very good to you on a nice hot day, but the truth is colder water is a little bit more difficult to drink. And water in general, some people can't drink it. You might want to add a little bit of non-sweetened apple juice. Why is water so important? Water is what's necessary for your body in order to metabolize. If you think about the oil in your car, if you don't have oil, the car can't run. You must have water. Without water, your body simply will not work the way it's supposed to work. If it can't metabolize, it can't get rid of the food, your food's going to turn into fat. Your food is not going to give you the nutrients that you need to get from it if you don't have the water behind it. Everyone knows that you need to have water, but how much water should you drink? The truth is there is no rule that you should drink 8 cups or 6 cups or 2 pints, whatever. Everything is determined by how much you weigh. Not how much I weigh, but how much you weigh. Some people need to drink a little bit more. Some people need to drink a little bit less. Here is the formula, and it works. Take your weight in kilogram. Let's say, for example, 70 kilogram. I wish I was 70 kilogram. Multiply that by 0.3. 70 times, 0.03. I put the decimal in the wrong place. 70 times 0.03 equals 2.1. That means that somebody who weighs 70 kilograms should be drinking minimally 2.1 liters of water a day. If you weigh less, you drink a little bit more. If you weigh 80 kilograms times 0.03, that would be 2.4 liters a day. That is how much water you want to drink a day. We'll talk about how you do that. We'll talk about how that works with the fast. The good health rabbi, this is how I refer to Rav Ishayek, he has a really nice saying. But deciding how much water to drink without taking your weight into consideration is like buying a suit according to your age and not according to your size. Nobody would do that. Now, you might think to yourself, 2 liters of water, if I drink that much water, I'm going to be in the bathroom all day long. Well, guess what? Number one, the more times you go to the bathroom, the more asher yatzas you can make. Every time you go to the bathroom, it's an asher yatzah. You could be 10, 12 times a day easily. It's a lot of brachas to add up to your 100. But the honest truth is, the more times that you're able to remove that stuff, the more of the dirt from your body, just like washing the floor. When you put that dirty water outside, that's what you're doing when you go to the bathroom. It's a wonderful thing. So there are special rules for how much to drink before the fast. What I've said is assuming you weigh 70 kilograms, 2.1 liters per day. Before the fast, there are special rules. The fast has 2 periods before it. There's the day right before the fast, which this year would be Sunday, and there's 2 days before the fast. This concept's going to come up a few times in what we're going to talk about tonight. 2 days before the fast, you want to drink not only your normal 2.1 liters, you want to actually have an extra 50%. So in this case, you would need to add another 1.1 liter, more or less, 1.5, whatever it is. So in the 2 days before the fast, that's Shabbos, you're going to need to drink over 3 liters of water. We're going to talk about how you're going to get to it. You'll see it's not very difficult to do. Again, you're going to get a BMI chart, and you know how much you weigh. When you weigh yourself, you'll multiply that by 0.03 to get how much water you drink, and then you'll see how much you need to do. I'm going to explain this a little bit better as we go on. Again, how much to drink. Take your 2.1 liters, and I like to use the 5 by 5 rule. Let's just say that it was 2 liters total. If you divide that by 5, you're going to get each portion is about 400 milliliters, right? 2 liters divided by 5 is about 400 milliliters. Find yourself a convenient mug or a bottle. This is actually my favorite. You'll see me walking around with these all day long. This one happens to be 500 milliliters. Find something convenient, then find 5 times in your day to drink that. If I drink 5 of those, 500 milliliters a day, I'm at 2.5 liters. That's above my 70 kilograms. That's great. That's right in the range. Find yourself, get your total, the weight that you are, multiply your weight by 0.03 to get how many liters you need to drink, and then divide that by 5. Find something or mark something that's got how much you're supposed to drink, and find a way to put that into your schedule 5 times. I'm going to describe for you right now where those 5 times should and where they should not be. There are some times when you do not want to be drinking. The numbers 0, 1, 2, and this is not an advertisement for telephone or internet service. They're going to tell you exactly when you should and should not drink. This is going to be hard to swallow, pardon the pun. 0 to 120. You should not drink during a meal. That is 0 hour. Do not drink at all. Not a drop of water during your meal. That's going to sound difficult. Wait. You should not drink all the way up to 2 hours after your meal. So if you're having Shabbos lunch, don't drink during lunch and wait for 2 hours after you finish lunch before you start drinking. This is, by the way, directly out of halacha. It is also borne out by modern science. When you drink while you're eating, your body cannot digest properly because the water dilutes all of those acids in your mouth and in your stomach that are supposed to break apart your food. Those acids were made by the Ribono Shel Olam in the exact formula to be able to take food that you chew very well, we'll talk about that too, that you chew into small pieces. The body was made to have those gastric acids or whatever they're called in order to digest. If you drink, you're diluting it, you're going to take, they will not be able to work according to the way you want them to work. So during a meal, don't drink, and 2 hours after a meal, don't drink. When can you drink? So that's where the 10 and the 20, remember these are all 0, 1, and 2s, that's where the 10 and the 20 come in. There's a little different rule between breakfast and other meals. Breakfast, you haven't eaten all day, all night long beforehand. So as long as you finish drinking 10 minutes before breakfast, you're good. So you wake up in the morning, have yourself one of your little containers, have 500 milliliters. If you daven, if you do something else before breakfast, just finish that before 10 minutes before breakfast. That's when you can now have breakfast. So you've already had 1 or 2 of those 5 servings of water even before you've started your breakfast. And then every other meal, you want to make sure not to drink 20 minutes before the other meal. So if you usually have lunch at 12:45, finish drinking by 12:25. Let me give you an example. When I get up in the morning, I have one immediately. Okay? I go to a shir in the morning, and then I go to daven in the morning, and then before I eat breakfast, I have my second bottle. I've already had a liter, which is almost half of what I should be drinking before breakfast. Wait 10 minutes before having breakfast. Then, 2 hours after you finish breakfast, you can drink your third bottle. Make sure that you leave 20 minutes before lunch. So again, if you're having lunch at 12:45, start drinking at 10 or 10:15 or whatever it is. And then 2 hours after lunch, after I finish lunch, I finish at 1 o'clock. By 3 o'clock already, I can have my fourth bottle. That leaves me the entire afternoon to have a fifth bottle finishing sometime 20 minutes before dinner. There you go. I've done the entire 5 drinks, and I haven't even come to dinner yet. I don't want to be drinking so much after dinner because I do like to sleep through the night. If it's Shabbos and you have a little bit of a different schedule, then what you should do is make Kiddush and drink with your Kiddush. When you make Kiddush, you can speak to your Rav about this, make Kiddush on 2 revi'os of grape juice or wine, and then have a bottle. So get up once in the morning, have your drink before you go to daven, and then come home, make Kiddush immediately when you get home. Have your revi'os for your 2 revi'os that you need. Again, speak to your local Orthodox rabbi, and then have another bottle. You don't have to make a bracha on the water, by the way, at that point, because you already made the hagefen. Make an al hagefen, and then you're ready for lunch. Okay? That is how I fit in my 5, sometimes even 6 bottles. And when it's a fast time, before the fast, you're going to have to get in 3.2 liters. That means you're going to have to get in 6 bottles. With the schedule I gave you, 1 when you get up, another one before breakfast, another one before lunch, another one before dinner. You have a long afternoon there where you can fit another bottle in. You can even strip one in after dinner if you wait for 2 hours. You can do that too. That's how you're going to find the time to drink your 5 or 6, or it may even be 7 on the day before fast. The 2 days before fast. It's like this. 2 days before fast, which this year is Shabbos, you want to have 50% extra water. The day before the fast, which in this case is Sunday, you can go back to your regular water. So you actually want to load up 2 days before the fast, not the day immediately preceding the fast. There is a mitzvah to eat on Erev Yom Kippur. There is no mitzvah to gorge yourself. We'll talk about that in the next slide. This is about eating. Fantastic. Why do we eat? What should we be eating? Number 1, fruits and vegetables. Everyone knows this. Very hard for some people to do. Some people are great at it. You want to have fruits and vegetables. You need to have protein. I know your parents probably told you protein. Protein is an essential building block of all of our tissues, our muscles, our bones, membranes, everything. The problem is that our body doesn't store protein, so we have to replenish the protein every day. How do we get protein? Well, protein comes from fish, beef, chicken, turkey. A normal serving of meat or fish, like maybe even one chicken breast, has about 20 to 30 grams of protein. I'll talk about how much you need in a moment. My favorite is actually a can of tuna. It's like 28 grams of protein in a can of tuna. This yogurt, when it first came out, there were 12 grams of protein in it. They now have ones that are up to 20 grams of protein. It's a lot of stuff out there with protein in it. An egg has 8 grams of protein. You have 2 eggs in the morning, you're already at 16 grams of protein. That's great. How much protein do you need to eat every day? You need to have 1 gram of protein per each kilogram, but it's not based on how much you weigh. This is going to get a little tricky. The water was based on how much you actually weigh. The protein is based on your ideal weight. How do you figure out your ideal weight? This is a BMI chart. It's off-center for a reason. This is a BMI chart according to your height and in kilograms. Let's take somebody, you want to find your actual height. So let's say that you are about 5 foot 8 inches, which is 172 centimeters. So as you see here, 172 centimeters, hold on a second. I know how to do this. Look at that, 172 centimeters here. Corresponds to your healthy BMI is somewhere between 57 and 74. Let's call that, 70. Okay, let's say that 70 is just right in the middle of your healthy weight. So this would be your ideal weight would be 70. You then, if you are 172 centimeters, which is about 5'8", you would want to consume on a regular day 70 times 1 gram is 70 grams of protein every day. That's your normal day. 1 gram of protein per kilogram. I'm going to send you a BMI chart according to the US system, and I'm going to send you one according to the metric system. Again, you're going to go in here. You're going to find your height. Let's say that you're, 162, you're 162 centimeters. Oops, I don't even know how to go back. You're 162, there we go. You're 162 centimeters, and this is a healthy range. So somewhere about 62, 63 is your healthy BMI. And I'm sorry, is your healthy kilogram weight. I'm sorry, this is your kilogram weight. That is how much your ideal weight is. Multiply that by 1. That's how much protein you want to eat. On the day before a fast, so guess what you need to do? 2 days before, this week is Shabbos, you want to have 50% more protein. So if you weigh if your ideal weight is 70 kilograms, you normally want to have 70 grams of protein. You want to add another half of that, which is 35 for 105 total grams of protein. Now, guess what? You're lucky because on Shabbos, most people eat meat or chicken. People eat chicken. Some people eat meat. There's usually a lot of protein in your cholent. You may have meat or turkey or fish. Those things are all rich in protein. So doing that on Shabbos is quite it's normal. It's a normal way to have that much protein. On Sunday, you're going to go back to the normal 70 grams of protein. So again, if the fast starts on Monday, on Shabbos you want to have 150%. On Sunday, you go back to normal. Fantastic. We talked about how much water to drink based on your actual weight. We talked about how much protein you need to eat. These things apply every single day of your life. And they're going to be especially important before the fast, because if you get yourself properly hydrated and overhydrated and properly protein and overprotein, but 2 days before the fast, your body will have those things ready for you to eat during the fast, ready to consume the inside of your body. Now, how are you supposed to eat? Again, directly out of halacha, don't drink when you eat. As I mentioned before, it dilutes. If you dilute, you're not going to be able to digest your food. Imagine a washing machine full of water, and there's one piece of clothing inside. It doesn't work. You need to have the right amount of digested juices together with the food that's in there, not an entire basin of water with one small piece of clothing. You also should not eat while you're talking or reading, because then you're not going to think about how you're eating. And the reason that's important is because one of the most important parts of eating is that you must chew your food. Don't pay attention to try to chew your food 32 times. That is not what's going on here. What's important is what it says. Digestion starts in the mouth, using your saliva and teeth to break down the food. If you don't chew your food, your stomach doesn't have teeth. It's very simple. If you take larger pieces and try to break them down in your stomach wasn't made like that. It's like taking a little paring knife to try to cut up a roast. It's not going to work. You must chew and chew and chew until your food is liquid. When it's liquid, then your stomach can do what it needs to do. The point of that is it's going to give you much less gastric issues because your food's going to digest. You're going to be able to get the beneficial minerals and everything else that you're supposed to be getting out of your food. It's going to be actually going into your bloodstream. If you stuff yourself, well, we'll talk about it right here. When not to eat. Before the fast, don't ever overeat. It's not the thing to do. It makes sense to you. I'm going to eat because tomorrow I'm not going to eat. It's the wrong thing to do. Because if you overeat, your body is simply not going to be able to digest all the food. Take a look at these two blenders. If you have a blender that's full of fruit, like the one on the left, or a blender that's got only half or 2/3 in it, which one of these is going to be able to do a better job blending up the fruit? Of course it's this one. Of course it is. And that's what you need to do with your food. You need to have the right amount of food in your stomach, because if you have too much, it simply is not going to be digested. You're not going to get the nutrients. You're going to feel full. You're going to feel stuffed for a few hours, but then your body is going to run on empty, because all that stuff you ate is just going to be, it's not going to be used. It's going to pass out of your body as opposed to being absorbed. That's not what you want to do. What you want to do before a fast is not how much you eat, but how well your body can use the good food that you ate. That's counterintuitive, but those are the facts. These tips are used. Rav Yechezkel puts these tips out, and again, his book has been sold in over 200,000 copies in 6 languages at least. One of them, which is English, which I strongly recommend that you buy the book and digest what it says. Sorry, I had to. Okay. What are the benefits of doing this? Of drinking correctly, of eating correctly, meaning the right amount and at the right times, and eating the protein that you need and chewing the food. Number one, your body is going to get nutrients. Your lifespan will increase. Now, obviously, if the Ribono Shel Olam said you're going to live an X amount of years, it's not likely that you're going to live greater than that. However, if the Ribono Shel Olam said you're going to live X amount of years and you don't take your health properly, you don't take care of yourself, you may decrease your lifetime, your lifespan. And if you decrease your lifespan, you probably know the story about the person who they said, you know, the studied Gomer who he didn't put on tefillin for 20 years. He said, what do you mean when he went to Shemayim? I put on tefillin every day of my life except for Shabbos and Yom Tov. He said, yes, but you were supposed to live 20 years longer. That's not what we want. We want to live healthfully, and therefore, Be'ezrat Hashem, we can all live out b'kitzo. Everybody will be able to live as long as they're supposed to live. You will also lose weight. It's one of the wonderful things. B'li ayin hara, I lost about 12 kilo 5 years ago. It has not come back. B'li ayin hara, Baruch Hashem, I'm so thankful. That's not the goal. It is something that will happen. If you eat water, if you keep your protein up, if you chew your food, you'll find that those 3 things by themselves will help you to lose weight. You will reduce or eliminate upset stomach because your food is being digested. Many other uncomfortable side effects will be gone. There are many, many very nasty diseases for which overweight is a major, major issue, including, but not limited to, COVID-19. These are things that you definitely want to avoid. If you do this, if you do eat this way, you will, b'li ayin hara, lose weight. I am available, by the way, if anyone is interested in taking this, even semi-seriously, contact me at any time and I will do the best I can to help you. And the Rambam makes a guarantee. The Rambam made only one guarantee in his entire Sfarim. His guarantee is that if you eat according to the rules that the Rambam said, you will never be sick. Now, the Rambam makes one guarantee, and this is the guarantee. I don't know. If you ask me, I would believe him. I think that's pretty good way to live your life. This, what I'm telling you, is not the entire contents of the book. Excuse me. You really need to read the book. It's good. It's actually funny. It's got great parts in it, and read it slowly. Ask me questions. I'm more than happy to help you. Rav Yechezkel also, his phone number and his email address is at the beginning of the book. He's happy to answer questions. If you can't understand your English, he'll probably send it to me. How to break the fast. So Emir Hashem, you've had your water, you've had your protein, you've been chewing all your food beforehand. Now it's time. We finished Ne'ilah, you finished Marav, you finished Kiddush Lavana. Baruch Hashem, you're still living. You had a good Gzar Din. It's time to break the fast. So what do? The first thing you do is you drink at least one of those bottles of water. And then you have to wait. This is the hardest part. The hardest part. The waiting the 10 minutes before you start eating is the hardest part. I can tell you that. Have some fruits and vegetables if you can, because those are easily digested. And then make sure that you have protein. Whatever, cottage cheese is good too. Any of the proteins I mentioned before. Fish is pretty light. Eggs, perhaps. Chicken, meat's a little hard for after the fast. Have made something of protein that you can have for after the fast. And then wait. Don't go to sleep. On a full stomach, you really should wait 2 hours before you go to sleep too. In summary, it's important to drink the right amount. How do you find the right amount? You take your actual weight, you multiply it by 0.03, and that gives you the amount of liters of water that you should be drinking. Cold water is hard to drink. You can add something to your water so it has a little bit of a flavor. It may be easier. You want to drink at the right times. That means, remember those numbers, 0, 1, 2. Not during the meal, that's 0 hour. Not up to 2 hours after the meal, don't drink. I want to tell you something about not drinking during the meal. You're going to yourself, ein matzav, no way I cannot drink during the meal. That's what I thought too. That's what everybody thinks. If you tell yourself, I'm not drinking during the meal, I don't care what. The first time you find out that you are thirsty during the meal, it's going to help you to remember that you always have to drink before a meal. You want to make sure that you're hydrated before the meal. The first time you forget about it, you'll find out that it's difficult. I don't drink during meals at all. I do not drink a thing, some wine maybe. We don't drink any water. My wife and I don't drink water bichalal during meals because we've conditioned ourselves to drink beforehand. We're at 26 minutes. Let's go a little bit further. Before a fast, on the second day before a fast, drink 1.5 times as much. This year again, that's going to come out on Shabbos. I told you how to get your extra drinks. Make sure you drink once in the morning. In Mirz Hashem, we're going to have a shul to go to. If not, you'll be closer to home. It's even easier because you always have the bathroom ready for you. Have a drink, make kiddush. Don't eat mazonos. You don't have to eat mazonos. You do have to have a full revius or 2 of wine. Consult your Rav. Drink water. And then make a hagefen and a hagefen, and you're finished. And then you can start your meal immediately. 10 minutes, you'll be fine. Set the table, it'll take you 10 minutes. Eating fruits and vegetables. Protein, again, 50% more on the second day preceding a fast. What does that mean? This is based on your ideal weight. This is where the BMI charts are going to come in. You're going to find your height. You're going to go over to your healthy weight. The middle range there is your ideal weight. That's how much protein you want to have. 1 kilogram per 1 gram of protein per kilogram of your ideal weight. And you want to chew, and you want to chew, and you want to chew. I'm sorry, excuse me, that was 5 tips. Chew, chew, chew. I had to add that in there. I said there's going to be a bonus for COVID-19. This is going to sound really simple, but here's the bonus. This is vitamin D supplements. These are 1,000 international unit supplements. I want to share something from you from Rav Yechezkel. My wife and I were driving to Yerushalayim somewhere between Purim and Pesach when the first COVID thing hit. And I called Rav Yechezkel. I wanted to ask him a question. And I asked him about COVID. He said, you have to take vitamin D because vitamin D is going to help your immune system. Okay, that's Rav Yechezkel. Maybe he has his own shitot. A study was done in Indonesia on 780 corona patients. Listen to this. If they were severely vitamin D deficient, there was a 98% mortality rate. 98% of those patients who were severely deficient in vitamin D died. If they were only deficient, there was still an 87% mortality rate. Here is the kicker. If they had healthy levels of vitamin D, only 4% died. 4% for healthy vitamin D compared to 98% of severely deficient. That means that the vitamin D is responsible for a 2,500% difference in mortality. Rabbono shel olam. Vitamin D, if what you're looking at on the screen, costs a little less than 30 shekel for one of the chewable tabs. Those are the ones that I like best because they're a little bit sweet and I don't get much sweetness. I'm not your doctor, okay? So you can take 2 of those a day, 2,000. I actually take 4 to 5 to 6 a day right now because of COVID. Take 2 of those a day. Now, before you do that, of course, you want to talk to your doctor. Let me see if I can share with you something. I hope this is going to work. I don't know if you're seeing that. Hold on a moment. I'm going to stop sharing you something. You know what? I'm not going to share it. You don't need to see it. If you go to your doctor, call your doctor, however you contact your doctor now, ask for a blood test with vitamin D in it. You'll get a referral, a hafnaya. One moment, someone is asking me a chat. Hold on a moment. Okay, I'll get to those in a second. We're talking about vitamin D25, by the way. That's the normal vitamin D here. I'll get to your questions in a moment. Ask your doctor for a hafnaya for a blood test and make sure it includes vitamin D. It doesn't normally. You can get that once a month. There are huge differences of opinion in what a normal vitamin D level is. 20 is generally seen to be a little bit deficient. 25 is normal. 30 is also normal. Right now I'm hovering about 29-30, Baruch Hashem, and I'm still taking 5,000 units of vitamin D under the recommendation of Rav Yechezkel Ishayek. Get yourself tested. Nothing's going to happen to you if you take one or 2,000 units of vitamin D. It can only help you. You can only overdose if you take about, 40,000 units a day. So you really don't need to worry about that. I'm just going to show you here. These are the findings from that study. A majority of the COVID-19 cases with insufficient vitamin D died. Okay, this is so simple and it's so cheap, and it's being done in some places, but not enough. Finally, Rav Ishayek has a famous saying: when you eat right, you eat your food. When you eat wrong, your food eats you. Wow. Okay, that is all that I have to share. Now let me get to your questions. Exactly 31:45. One moment. I'm going to see if I can find. I'm going to stop sharing, and now you can see me. Okay. Question number 1: is it suitable to eat pasta or other grains prior to or following a fast? The answer to your question is there are a lot of things that people have been told to eat before fast. Grapes, watermelon, pasta, grape skins, a bunch of things people have been told to eat. If it doesn't have protein in it, all it's doing is filling, well, I shouldn't say that. Pasta is going to fill you up. The goal is not to fill you up. The goal is to have those kinds of nutrients that your body needs. Protein is one of the nutrients that your body needs. If you're going to have some pasta, of course it would be whole grain pasta, then put some cottage cheese in with it, because cottage cheese is a great source of protein too. But having pasta like that, or other grains, or brown rice, all it's going to do is it's going to make you feel full, which is really nice for the first few hours, except you're probably going to stuff yourself. It's not going to help you get through the fast. Somebody asked, what about D3? I don't know anything about D3. I know that the vitamin D25 is the one that is tested and recommended in the, hold on a moment. The one that's recommended, I'm going to share with you my Meuchedet for a moment. The one that's recommended in all of the tests. Let me show you something very quick. If you're a member of Meuchedet, so you should be able to log in here. And you can go in here, and if you've ever taken a blood test, with a vitamin D in it, so you'll be able to see what your current level is, in case you don't know. This, by the way, is part of what Rav Yechezkel recommends, which is called taking care of your own health, because the doctors really don't have the time to pay attention to everyone in the kind of social medicine system that we have. We're going to look here for, yes, I had a COVID test. Baruch Hashem, I was negative at the time. Okay, I'm going to look for my vitamin D5, and I'm going to go take a look at the history. This is where I am today, B'li Ayin Hara, 30. Okay, but look where I was when I started, 19, 14, a little bit deficient here. This is already 2012. You can take care of yourself by looking. Look, from 2012, this is eight years of history that's stored for me. If you can do this with your vital signs, that's a fantastic thing to be able to do. There's a question. What about quinoa? Okay, quinoa is yes, it is high in protein. There's a little problem with quinoa. Quinoa, like every food, in order to digest the protein, needs to be chewed really, really well. it's hard to chew quinoa well because it's tiny. So what ends up happening is that you chew some of it and the rest of it gets into your stomach without being chewed. Now, if it's not chewed, then all the fluids in your mouth can't mix in with the food. Digestion starts in the mouth. So if you're not able to get that digestion started in the right place, then I really should do this. If you're not able to get that digestion started in the right place in your mouth, then even chia seeds, you can't chew a chia seed. What are you going to do with it? So those kinds of things are also not really highly recommended. They are good sources of protein. Chicken, beef, any of those kinds of things. If you're vegan, it'll be a little bit more difficult to do because the sources of protein are more difficult to get from natural food. Any other questions before we wrap up? If you'd like to, you can unmute yourself if you're having a hard time with the chat, and you can ask a question there.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
Way I understand that eating pasta or brown rice before tidiness helps keep your blood sugar up, which helps you prevent getting headaches.
That may be true, Howie. First of all, I would never recommend eating anything with white flour, even for the purposes of preventing headaches. I kind of would rather try to understand why those headaches are happening. If somebody is a coffee...
Low blood sugar. I was told this by a nutritionist and I many years ago.
Okay. The rules that I'm giving here are rules that are meant for we'll call it the normal healthy person without specific issues. If someone's got a specific issue, you definitely want to consult your healthcare person. If they tell you that you need to have that before the fast, 100% do that. But make sure that you're having your proteins also.
So you're suggesting it should be like earlier, the meal before the tidiness, but you should eat it then earlier.
Eat what? The protein earlier?
No, like the pasta and stuff. Pasta or brown rice.
I don't know if I would suggest that it should be earlier or during the meal. It doesn't make a difference when you have your proteins during the day. The day of the fast on Sunday, I'm going to have 3 eggs for breakfast. That's going to be 24 grams of protein. I'm going to have a tuna for lunch. It's going to be 28 grams. I'm already at 52 grams. And I'm going to have chicken for dinner. So I'm going to be way past 70 by the time the fast comes up. I'm probably not going to have any rice or anything like that myself. But I don't have the same requirements. Somebody asked about, is there any problem with drinking an entire liter in one shot? That's a good question. I recommend that it not be done. I find, and I'm not going to give you this with an authority, but I find that when you drink that much water, it goes straight through you. And the idea is to spread it out during the day, and then it will be absorbed better, I believe. I'm not going to tell you this. You're going to go Google it and find out that I'm wrong. I don't think that I'm wrong, but I would recommend that you not drink that liter. Only have 3 shots of 1 liter a day. Spread it out into 4, 5, 6 times.
That's correct. As far as I've heard, if you sip water slowly during the day, it gives a chance for the water to hydrate your cells. If you drink it too fast, it just goes right through your system. Doesn't do anything.
Very good. Thank you, Yudamir. Any other questions? If you like.
I asked about nuts and seeds, but they're a good source of protein also.
Yeah, nuts and seeds, they are, but there's another problem with nuts and seeds. First of all the things that you're mentioning are very small. And in order to get a good amount of protein, you really need to eat a lot of them. And nuts in particular, they're very fatty. They're good fat, but they're very fatty. And in order to have a lot of protein from them, you'd also be ingesting a lot of fat, which may not be what you want to do. And again, you have to chew nuts and seeds very, very, very well before you can really get them. I do have some nuts with my protein yogurt, and I chew it very well because I want to make sure that it digests and that I get from it what it wants. You can't just go popping nuts and seeds. They're just going to pass right through you, and they're going to turn into fat because they're not being digested. Some people don't suffer from that problem, Baruch Hashem, but those of us who are trying to keep our weight at an even keel or to reduce that, that's very important. Great. I've gone over time here. I want to thank everyone for joining. I will, but Ezrat Hashem, email to you your BMI things, as well as a copy, a link in order to get this recording. I strongly, strongly recommend that you buy and read To Your Health. Again, it's available at the Geld Center. If I can, maybe I'll even send you all the introduction if I remember to do that. I do have the PDF here, and maybe I'll try to send you the introduction. I actually like it very much. Vitamin D is 31. That's fantastic. Whoever wrote that to me. The name of the book is To Your Health. In Hebrew, it's Chaim B'ri'im Kahalacha. A healthy life according to halacha. It's wonderful that halacha and modern science are able to meet together, and this is a great place for them to do so. Everyone should have a Gemar Chatima Tova and a very healthy year.
Mm-hmm.